Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Barber. I'm your race director for the Tushars Mountain Runs in 2025. Brand new courses this year, but I wanted to do a video race brief. This will go out along with the email, and we'll post it on the website. But I just want to talk through some of the valuable information for this race. If you're camping or worried about meal tickets, there will be separate emails going out detailing that. I still will briefly touch on those though, but we can go through and kind of glance over the website. And we'll start with bib pickup. We have 2 times. Both are going to be at the Eagle Mountain Resort, or Eagle Point Resort, where we start and finish. And that's going to be Friday from 4 to 7 before the race, and then race morning from 4 to 8. Friday, we do have a pasta dinner at the lodge. That's provided if you purchase the pre-race meal ticket. I'll also be doing some race briefs and giving you information that I find while I do some course marking and things like that. And then Saturday morning, you can also pick up your packet as well. Both packet pickups will have a required gear check, and that list is found on the website. And this is not a suggestion. We will have people going through all these things, but you will need a rain jacket, an emergency blanket, a cell phone or GPS device with the course loaded on it, a whistle, which most vests these days come with that attached to it somewhere, a reusable cup because we are a cupless race, and a headlamp, and then those will all be checked, and then recommended gear, poles for sure, and a water filter. There's a lot of water flowing on course that it could be good to filter in some spots, although there's not any tons of long stretches without aid this year. As far as camping goes, I'll pull this little map up. They did add a whole new lot this year at the resort. So zooming in, the start finish line is in this area near the yurt. If you purchased any tent camping, that's going to be in this island of trees or these trees down here. Wonderful places to camp. If you also want a tent camp in this big yellow area over here, you can pull off the road this direction. And if you're not catching all this, don't worry, there'll be a separate email going out a little bit more detailed, but I just wanted to touch on it. This top lot is reserved for race day parking, but we did get word if you had a Sprinter van or you're camping out of your car, they wouldn't mind you parking here, but we'll probably just use it for race day parking. There are 3 lots further down that will be for car camping, RVs, and things like that. You're also welcome to car camp or pull a van or anything back in this big area in the woods if you'd like some more privacy. Meal tickets can be purchased still on the website if you didn't do it with your registration. Friday night, there's going to be a pre-race pasta dinner in the lodge adjacent to the start-finish. And on Saturday, after the race, there is post-race meals being cooked again in the lodge. And we can link that in the email. If you missed out on purchasing the tickets, we can get those for you, or you can still purchase them up to race day. And even at the race site, we can still purchase it. It's like $13, and that gets you like a salad and whatever meal you choose, Southwest chicken hoagie, hot dog hamburger, or quesadilla. We'll move into cutoffs for the race. So cutoffs are based on the 100K course, and it's based off a 24-hour finish for the 100K course, same pace throughout the race. So if there's one section that's tougher than another, we didn't adjust the cutoffs there because it should get balanced out by the easier sections. And the good thing about Tushars is that the whole race is pretty darn tough. So it's roughly 22 minutes and 30 seconds per mile. So if you're chasing cutoffs, if you keep your elapsed time faster than that, you should be good to go. But we're looking at Alunite at 2:30 p.m. For the 100K, that's at mile 24.7. For the marathon and the 70K, you'll be heading right to Alunite. So it's sooner or the cutoff's the same, but less miles. So if you're in the marathon or 70K, cutoff shouldn't be as much of an issue because it's based on the 100K distance, and they do a loop before. So the 100K runners will actually be chasing 70K in marathon, even though they start earlier, but we'll get into that when we go over the courses. But we do have cutoffs at every aid station starting at Alunite, with the exception of Copperbelt, because we can get you out at Boolean if we need to. And these are going to be hard cutoffs, so make sure you're ahead of these times, and these times are going to be leaving the aid station, so you got to be on your way. But again, this is just based on a 24-hour 100K finish. So that takes us into our courses, brand new for this year. We'll start with the shortest ones and kind of move up because they kind of build off of each other. So the half marathon course is the same as last year. Actually, before I start talking about courses, I'll hit why we can't go over Delano. Um, and we're looking at changing that this year. Obviously, Delano is the high point in the Tushars. It's right here. The courses used to go up the backside and down the front side. There's an established trail on the front side, but there's nothing on the backside. So the National Forest is working on building that. Once that trail is built, they will allow us to go back over Delano. And that reason is to protect the Tushar paintbrush, which is a flower, and 4 other species of flower that I don't know off the top of my head right now. Once that trail is built, we're good to go for Delano, whether that be 26 or beyond. We're hoping next year. We've offered to help out for trail work days or resources or tools. I want to go back over the mountain, so I'm working hard on that. So no Delano this year, but we have new courses and they're awesome. And one's a brand new trail that's never been traversed in the Tushars mountain runs before. With that being said, the half marathon course was amended last year due to the Silver King fire, and we're going to keep it the same for this year because I thought it was awesome. It's about 14 miles, so we'll take you through that. We're going to start at Eagle Point. You're going to go up and over the Mount Holly saddle, which will be close to the high point of your course. It's beautiful up there. Long descent, and you have one aid station on your course that you're going to hit twice. It's a little out and back to Lake Stream Aid. It is pretty cool because that out and back trail does follow a stream and some little waterfalls and stuff. But you're going to tag Lake Stream Aid. Even if you don't need the aid, you have to go down there. That's part of the course. Just hit the timing mat, turn around, head back up to Skyline Trail, take a sharp right corner. Going to be on this gorgeous trail, the Skyline National Recreation Trail. It's kind of on a ridge line, goes in and out of the trees. There's some views to the east and the west. And then right around here, you're going to turn off the trail and go up an avalanche chute to City Creek Peak. So this is an off-trail climb. It's quite steep. If you look at the gradients down there, 30s, even some 40 percentages. At the top of the peak, you'll grab a silicone wristband and turn around and come on back. This off-trail climb, it is steep, but it is all like tundra and grass. Still be careful, but it's not some of the other off-trail stuff that the 100K runners are going to be doing, and the 70K runners is more talus and rocky. This is nice and grassy. But after you tag City Creek, do a U-turn and do the exact same thing on the way back. So it's descent, then we're going to hit Skyline all the way back, kind of rolly. Take a turn, hit Lake Stream 8 again, one last climb up to the Mount Holly saddle, and then you're going to roll on back to the start finish. Once you get in the ski resort, there's kind of a nice long descent, and then if you've done this race before, everyone finishes with this little kicker. It's a couple 100 feet going up the ski run. So that is the half marathon. All the other courses kind of build off of each other. So we'll start with the marathon. You'll see it's one big loop like this. So the marathon being that loop, we'll consider that the main loop. And then the other courses kind of have some adjustments based on that. So with the marathon, we're going to be starting that going out the same way as the half. Everyone goes out the same way. You're going to take a hard right turn. That'll be marked really well. Hit Lake Stream Aid Station, and then you're going to turn north to go to Alunite. You're going to be behind Mount Holly here. This is a great section. It can be a little wet in this section too. Then we're going to climb up to Alunite Ridge Aid Station. This is going to be considered a no-drop aid station. This is really remote. I go out there on Tuesday to set up the aid station and do some course marking and trail work. We'll get into that in just a second. But it'll be properly stocked, but it's not going to be as heavily stocked as some of the other ones later in the course. But it's early on, so you should be good to go. But after you hit Alunite Aid, gonna do a little bit of a climb and then a big descent, and there's a really rough section right through here that I'm actually gonna be doing a lot of trail work. I'll show you this photo. That's me a couple weeks ago. There's like 100 of trees this size that fell over in a quarter-mile stretch. It was from fire damage. That then it rained really hard, so it's kind of like a mix of ash and mud, and then the trees fell over. So I'll work my best to clean this stuff up. With my little handsaw and machete, I won't be able to chop down trees like this. So there is going to be some going under logs and over logs. I just took a picture next to this one because these are the ones that are really annoying where it's too small to go under, so you kind of got to scramble over it. That's part of the adventure. You're going to love it. So back to the map. That's just like a really short section around here where we're going to be doing trail work. So I'll clean it up to the best I can, but it's going to be maybe some climbing and some log hopping there. A little bit of a climb before we go into one of my favorite sections. This is brand new. This is on this is on the backside of Delano before you get to where there's no trail. You're going to turn off the Delano Peak Trail and into the pocket. So there's a bit of a climb here, but once you get to the saddle, it's like one of the most gorgeous views I've ever seen in all my years of trail running and hiking. And then you're going to enter what we call the pocket. It's this giant bowl behind Delano, and work your way through it. The topo map doesn't look like anything special, but it is really rough and rolly. We got some pictures of the pocket. It's going to be here. So it's kind of cliffy, but this whole area behind Heidi right there is the pocket. And you're just going to be going up and down stuff like this. So it's really cool geology. There's some sandy parts. There's some really rocky parts. And that's my dog, Freddie, and he'll be at the race too, so make sure you say hi to him. After you move through the pocket, I'm going to be back into the trees. This is a really great section. There's some switchbacks on this descent right here before you make a creek crossing and then climb up to Boolean pasture. Boolean pasture is going to be right here. Big, substantial aid station that's crew accessible for 70K and 100K, drop bags for 70K and 100K, and pacers in and out. The marathon, which we're talking about right now, after hitting Boolean, there will be a critical junction because we'll get into it, but other distances keep going north to Copperbelt. And then after they do Copperbelt, they go down to Blue Lake. The marathon's actually going to stick to FS 123, which is the stretch of road. And you say, oh, road is like that's not trail running, but this road's gorgeous. It's your high point of the course. So you're on a road, but you're hitting, what is that even? Almost 11,500 feet. You have great views both directions, and it's just a short stretch from Boolean to Mud Lake on the road. You'll come into Mud Lake aid station right here, work your way past Mud Lake, and then you have a beautiful descent, nice and smooth. And this section is just great. You're between Shelley Baldy Peak and Delano, and it's just this big meadow. There'll probably be wildflowers. A lot of times you can see the goats up here as well. There's one final little climb up to Skyline aid station right here. This uphill is steeper than it looks, so you'll feel that one. Before making your way back from Skyline, pretty smooth trail the rest of the way to the finish. Looking at 26.7 miles with 6,800 feet, and this north side of the course between Alunite and Boolean is slow. It doesn't look like there's a ton of climbing there, but it's high up, and it's the most rugged stretch of your course. Moving into the 70K, it looks pretty similar to the marathon with a couple of changes. So since I already talked about it, I'll kind of breeze through the first section where you're going to be going. Let's get that pulled up. We're going to go from the start, tag Lake Stream Aid, work your way up to Alunite, through the tree and trail work section, through the pocket, which is gorgeous, and up to Boolean pasture. That's where the courses deviate, so we'll start there. After Boolean, you'll hit Boolean twice. So after Boolean, you'll go down FS 123. This will probably be the easiest stretch of your entire course. It is forest road, and it is gentle downhill. It's gorgeous because you're going to be looking across the valley at the climb that you're going to be doing. We will have an aid station where you leave the road and get onto the trail. Boolean's going to be a very major aid station. This Copperbelt aid will be more minimal. So make sure you're stocking up at Boolean. From Boolean to do the whole out and back to Boolean is only 12 miles, but there is a pretty significant climb in there, so we put an aid station halfway, but don't plan on Copperbelt having the same stuff as the Boolean pasture aid. When we send out the race guide and email, we'll have a whole menu on what's going to be offered at each aid station as well. But then you'll start climbing up Copperbelt. If there is any fear of exposure, this is probably going to be your worst spot working around this corner. There's no cliff or anything like that. It's just a big talus, steep slope. I'll say that you work across. And then after that, you'll kind of work your way over to the Copperbelt Saddle. We can't go to the actual peak for the same reason. It's off trail with those darn Tusher paintbrush flowers, but this saddle has a great view, and we'll flip you around here. The turnaround might be earlier depending on snow conditions. It's not a bad snow year, so I don't anticipate that, but we'll see that when we course mark, because sometimes these north-facing slopes can get some really big snow fields that aren't safe to cross, especially when there's melting. So you don't want to be sliding down this area. So the turnaround could be anywhere between here and here. There'll be signs, and there'll also be a wristband to grab at the Copperbelt turnaround. After working your way through Copperbelt, you're going to do the same thing coming back, hit Boolean again. The marathon is going to head down the road. The 70K and 100K are going to head down trail. This is actually a really old road descending down to Blue Lake, past Blue Lake, and every year in the past we've done this as a descent, but you're going to do this long climb out from Blue Lake up to Mud Lake. After hitting the Mud Lake aid, another short out and back, you're going to be climbing another off-trail climb up to the top of Shelley Baldy Peak. If you did the race last year, that was the first time we put this climb into the courses. This one is really rocky, but it's one ridge line, gorgeous views. Tag the peak, grab another wristband. You don't need to wear them, just stick it in your vest, stick it in your pocket. That's kind of like your proof that you tagged all these summits in lieu of like a bib punch or anything like that. After Shelley Baldy Peak, you're going to make your way, same as rejoin the marathon course, on Skyline Trail, kind of a long descent, and then one last little climb up to Skyline Aid Station. From there, you got just under 5 miles to go. Breeze your way into the finish at the resort. The 100K looks similar to the 70K with just some additions. I'll take away the 70K now. So you'll notice this big south loop to start. That's going to be new in the 100K and new to the race in general. We've never gone this far south before, and I'll explain kind of some of that. So same start. Everyone goes out and hits Lake Stream Aid first. 100K, you won't go right to Alunite because you have more miles to run. You'll follow the half marathon course and tag City Creek Peak. After City Creek Peak, you'll continue heading south to Big Flat. This would be it's only 8 miles into your race, but this is a really good area for crew to see you. So it's a really easy drive if they want to see you start and then just take off to Big Flat. It's only 8 miles in, but it's a great spectator spot. We're going to put the aid right near the road this year, where the trail pops out, typically has campers and stuff like that. After the crossing the road, this is kind of like a non-trail section, but it's just a big field, so we'll just put a bunch of pin flags through the field, and then when you get to about here, it starts single-track trail, and I did this a couple weeks ago, and this is just a gorgeous single-track descent. You're going to be it'll be the low point of your course, so you're going to be going down to like 8,600 feet, and then I've got a picture of that as well. So smooth trail, just kind of through the trees. The sun will be rising at your back at this time. Probably a good opportunity to see a lot of wildlife as well. This is really not a hugely traveled trail, but there is definitely a trail, pretty easy to follow the whole thing. What goes down must come up. So we're going to work our way across this is kind of different now. I'll actually pull up the satellite view because this part will be tricky, but we're going to mark it really well. So you're in the woods. You're going to pop out on this new mining road, Forest Service road, cross a bridge, which is right here. And then it doesn't look like there's any trail in this section, but once you get to about right here, it's a nice single track where we parallel the road, climb out and cross that old mining road, and then it is a long, steady climb on the Tusher Ridge Trail. And that starts, we'll zoom out just to kind of show you here. So basically from that road crossing all the way, you're on a ridge, but you're still climbing, and you go right near the start finish, but we don't go back to the start finish. So straight across, again, you've done this trail once already, make your way to Lake Stream Aid, and then after Lake Stream the second time, you're going to start heading north to Alunite. So this section will be tricky because we got half marathoners going this way, marathon and 70K going north, and then 100K doing both. We will have, in addition to course marking, a staff member in this vicinity too, to tell you which way to go. So no worries there about taking a wrong turn, because that will be a staffed area that will look at your bib, or if you have any questions, she will point you in the right direction. So work your way towards Alunite. We're going to hit the trail work tree section, go through the pocket, hit Boolean the first time, down the road, climb Copper Belt, turn around, back up the road, down to Blue Lake, hit Mud Lake, just like the 70K, climb Shelly Baldy, just like the 70K, and then right about here it gets different. Instead of taking Skyline Trail directly to Skyline Aid, you guys get some bonus miles. So this trail is actually still called the Blue Lake Trail right here, but this is just a gorgeous, fast, single-track descent, so you can make up some time here. There's a water crossing in this vicinity, and then you'll be working your way through Big John Flat, which this is really drivable from the start-finish. It's a dirt road, four-wheel drive probably recommended, but not necessary. You could likely drive it in a sedan, but depending on like rain conditions and stuff like that, I would probably have at least some sort of SUV, and then throw it in four-wheel if that's a possibility. But definitely can do it with a car. You'll see this yellow highlighted section. This is just the Big John Flat area, and we're just going to allow that to be a crew zone. So anywhere you're going to be running on the road from about right here up to Skyline Aid, and this is like a big field in this section. So if you have a 100K runner, they'll probably be coming through in the evening or at night, but this is a crew zone. So if you need anything from a crew, you can switch pacers in this vicinity as well. Then you hit Skyline Aid, and then about 5 miles to go will be your finish. I'm going to show you some course markings too, just so you're familiar with what to look at. So starting with the half marathon, you're going to be purple. They'll look just like this. And then depending on which way you go, they're going to be tilted. If there's ever a bigger junction, like leaving Lakestream Aid, we'll do the full page, and it'll have the distance on it as well. Moving up to marathon, you're looking at green, 70K, yellow, and 100K, red. So get that in your brain right now to follow those junctions. In addition to the signage, the course is going to be marked with orange and black pin flags, orange ribbons, and reflectors where necessary for areas that might be dark when you're going through those. There will be little reflective tags. Those are your courses. There will be a lot more information on the website and in the runner email. I just wanted to go through a little bit of everything right now. If you're looking to get the courses onto your watch or device right from the website, you can do it via Strava, or we have links to the CalTopo. And if you have any issues doing that, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to walk you through any of that. That is all I've got right now. Again, keep your eyes peeled for emails on camping details and meal ticket details. And if you have any questions that aren't covered on that, feel free to email me. We'll also be sending out the runner guide very shortly here before we get to race week. But I'm really excited for these new courses and the race in general, and I can't wait to see you all tackle this beast of a course. I will see you in the mountains shortly.